Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Stephen Kirch. Welcome back to Savvy Business. For our Life After COVID series. We're so grateful to have you talking tonight. Last time you were here, we talked about productivity. Very important to be productive in your business. But you have a second aspect to your business, and that is finance and financials and wealth and all of that. And you're going to go into that and how you bridge that, how you help people build finances, both in their business and their life. I'm so grateful to have you back here. And you're with Profit Minds. Welcome back.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for having me back. It's been a very interesting journey this past year, with the pandemic, and as you said, post-COVID, right? Well, we're not really post-COVID yet, unfortunately.
Keep hoping.
Yeah, I think we're making some progress, but it's still going to be months, I think, before we get back to any sort of normalcy.
Yeah, where are you exactly?
I'm in California.
Oh, in California.
Northern California. Yeah.
It's the state that has the most regulations or lockdowns at the moment, right?
That's correct. And we started before anybody else. We started back, I think it was March 16th. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I started out, I spent 30 years in high tech. And over the course of that time, as we talked about last time, I learned how to teach people how to be productive. Mm-hmm. Right, how to get stuff done. Yeah. And I was a certified facilitator for the Covey 7 Habits for over 20 years. I've been doing that for a very long time. But when I would sit down with a small business owner, the real challenge was, I would say, I'm going to get you an hour of more productive time every day. Mm-hmm. And boy, they would get all excited about it. Mm-hmm. The challenge was, they have absolutely no idea what an hour of their time is worth. Hmm. When you work for a corporation and you get a paycheck every week, right? You can look at the paycheck and you can divide the, weekly pay by 40 hours. I don't know anybody that actually works only 40 hours, but you can divide it by 40 hours and you say that's nominally what an hour of my time is worth. Mm-hmm. But when you're a small business owner, you do everything. And you work until you drop at the end of the day, you go to sleep and you get up the next day and you do it all over again. Right? Most small business owners, they can't take even a week of vacation because everything goes away, everything dries up. Their whole pipeline stops. They can't, they do all the business development, they do the bookkeeping, they do everything. They wear every hat. Mm-hmm. Right? And so they don't know which activities are more valuable, which ones are less. And they really don't know what the value of a single hour is. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm going to give them an extra hour, but they don't know what it's worth, how do they know if it's worth investing in my time to be their coach or investing in what it would cost for me to be their coach? So about a year ago, I came across this system. It's a very systematic way of looking at how you build a business. Mm. Most small business owners, and I'm talking about people that make, the revenues, say $300, $500, even $1 million. Mm-hmm. Most of those folks, they really have a glorified job. It's not really a business yet.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And a lot of people end up working for the so-called business instead of working at it like an employee for your own business. Instead of the business working for you, it's like they're just working many more hours spinning their wheels, but really, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're busy working in their business and never on their business. And they don't have time to work on their business. So we sit down with them and go through very, very systematically in a strategic way of getting additional leads, more prospects for your business. How do you turn those prospects into clients? How do you maximize the value of each client? Mm-hmm. What's the proper way to price your products so that each line of business, each kind of thing that you do is profitable in and of itself? Mm-hmm. And then looking at the overall cost structure of your business and how do you drop as much of that top line revenue into the bottom line? Mm-hmm. And then you know, I say, and I even have a book, and we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
That lays out these strategies. I can find $30,000 to $50,000 or more for any small business in under 45 minutes.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing when I heard that, because who doesn't want money as a business owner to come into their business? And it's amazing. One of the things I found, and I did this as a mistake myself, Stephen, is that when you first get started, you're worried about all the wrong things. Oh, look at the color scheme of my website and these beautiful little calling cards. And no one really cares about how pretty colors your website are, or the cute little card you carry around. It's like all focused on the wrong thing. Maybe it just feels like we have control over those parts, so we concentrate on them.
That's certainly part of it. We also wind up being busy but not productive. I mean, and that's, of course, the other hat that I wear, right? Once we come up with these strategies, and by the way, most of the time when I sit down with a small business owner, the number is not $30,000 or $50,000. It's usually north of 100. And then it's a simple question of, well, would you like some help with that?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now we know what the value of the engagement is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I use those productivity techniques that I have to help them find the time to do those things that they know they should be doing anyway.
Yeah. Learn the effective things like sales or bringing those clients in, or a couple of business owners like myself in the beginning. You get those couple of clients and you just sit on them and think you're sitting on your laurels, and that's great, but they might not be your client forever. You got to keep meeting people, growing your business, because things change. I mean, my one friend had a couple of properties, and she's like, I'm doing well. I was even coaching some people. And then she was by Sandy, back in Brooklyn when they had the big Sandy storm. She lost all of her property, all of them.
Oh, my.
So all the people she was renting to, all gone overnight. And and she didn't really. And then at the same time, a lot of her coaching clients dried up. But it can happen to anyone. Now, you do things different financial wise than a lot of other companies. Share how your ideals or the way you approach finances are different than, say, another financial advisor or someone that might come in to look at managing your finances or your wealth.
Yeah. So again, what we're really talking about here is not so much financial management as business. It's basic business practices of, you really need to maximize the right kind of message to your clients. What's really important.
Funny. You know what you got me thinking? The right type of message. I was in financial consulting. My front page used to say, let us help you stop hemorrhaging your money. And I remember my mentor said, maybe you just want to use a different word instead of hemorrhage. That made me laugh.
It is an interesting, but appropriate sort of, just bleeding it away. Right.
Yeah.
But what we work with our clients on is coming up with that sort of key marketing message that really it's an interrupt for your potential prospects. Mm-hmm. What you have to do is figure out what is the conversation that's going on in the head of your ideal client? What is it that they worry about? What is it that keeps them up at night? Why is it that they wake up in the middle of the night? What is it that they hate doing? Right? What is it that they have a problem that they have that they don't want, and a result that they want but don't have. And how is it that your product or service connects those two things, right? For the small business owner is, where is my next piece of business going to come from? Right? Mm-hmm. Well, I have a whole system of finding additional leads. There's 40 different strategies that we can use to find leads and turn those leads into clients and so forth and so on.
And I'm assuming your program also breaks down who are the best people you can possibly serve, because you can't go after everyone. If you go after a group of people that cannot or will not be able to benefit from what you have to offer, then you're just spinning your wheels again, and you're not able to help them.
Right. So you want to interrupt the conversation that's going on in the head of your ideal client. Who are the best people for you to serve? Who are the ones that you really love to serve? Right. So, because you're right, you don't want to try to service everybody. Right. Wonderful coach that I had last year. One of the things that she taught me was SW, 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 SW. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. So the idea here is that if you try to service everybody and you go after those clients that are not ideal and you spend a lot of time servicing them, that takes you away from your ability to service the client that really is ideal, that you really enjoy servicing. So yeah, absolutely. You've got to find your client avatar.
Yeah.
And then you have to think about what is their problem. So many small business owners, when you look at their websites, the website is all about the business. It's not about the client. It's not about the customer. You go to a moving company website and it says, we have trucks.
That's
nice.
Nice.
I would hope so, right? You know, who else could? I mean, everybody says that, right? You want to find out something. Why does it matter? Well, we have air glide trucks that really protect your valuables, your family heirlooms, right? If that matters to your clientele, right? So the idea here is, you want to speak to the problems that your clients, your prospects have, not to the values that you have, not, oh, I'm good at this because we've been in business for 40 years. Who cares? What I care about is, can you solve my problem?
Yeah. Can you solve my problem? And it's interesting. I think what people get stuck on is they think, I'm going to start a business because I knit really well. I love to make knitted whatevers. And that's great. And maybe some people in your family like it. Maybe some people will buy it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have something that can translate into a business. Or, like in my case, I was good at finances, right? My ex-boss at my company said, hey, why don't you go out and do collections for people? Well, I didn't want to do that. I figured, why didn't I teach them how to do collections? And, like you were training people to be a coach. But what I didn't pay attention to is the people that were interested in working with me didn't want to know how to do collections at all. They wanted someone to do it for them. So in order for me to hit what people most needed in the market, I needed to do it for them or get a mass of people together to work with me so we could go do it for them. They didn't want
to find somebody else to do it, right?
Yeah.
Find somebody that you could take a piece of that.
Exactly. Now tell me, you also train people. You're expert teacher and master speaker as well, but you also train people to coach and do this. Explain how that works and how that process works.
Yeah. So that's actually one of the exciting things, since the lockdown started here in California, I've averaged more than one new high-paying coaching client per month. And I've set up some arrangements of a partner. And frankly, we're starting to get full. We don't really have room for more clients. But we have great partners that are supplying us with clients at a rate that we just can't sustain. And so we have the opportunity now to train and license coaches to do what we do. It's not a job. I'm not offering someone a job. I'm offering a business opportunity. It's not really a traditional franchise or an MLM, right? I'm not going to take any piece of the coaching revenue for these people that I train. There's no upfront fee. There's simply a monthly fee that they pay to me to license the materials.
Okay.
And I provide all of the infrastructure that they need to set up them in their own business. To be a coach, and I teach them. And we have a mastermind group of coaches. We get together every couple of weeks and talk through how things are going. And I spend time with each of the coaches as they come on board, making sure that they're doing the training and learning the ropes, as it were.
How long does it take to go through the process?
It depends on how industrious or how diligent the person is, but our target is to have somebody up in 6 to 8 weeks.
Awesome.
It's a pretty rigorous thing, but you know, and we have to build a couple of websites, and that takes some time. Yeah, and I take care of all the upfront stuff. There's no upfront fee. There's no back-end revenue share. It's simply a month-to-month agreement. When the person says, hey, I'm done with this, give me 30 days notice, and we part as friends. But
basically, you're training them how to do the profit minds type of coaching. So you
correct.
go out there and not only figure out how to get the policies and procedures in place and productivity in place and all of what a business would need. That's what they'll coach people in as far as business goes, right?
Yeah, it's primarily around strategic marketing and teaching them these 5 things that I've been talking about, right? Getting more leads, turning those leads into clients, maximizing the value of each client, and then setting proper pricing and looking at overall profitability.
Can we go to that the good sweet spot for pricing? That's something I think a lot of people miss. I hear some coaches say, well, I think I'm worth $20,000. I'm like, well, does everyone agree with you? Because if not, then you might be asking for it. No one's going to click on it. So how do you come across discovering what your sweet spot is for pricing on something?
Well, there are a variety of things to do. The real problem that most small businesses do is that they're too eager to discount.
Interesting. Huh.
Recognize that when you discount, let's say you sell a widget for $100, right? It costs you $70 to make it. If you give a 20% discount, right, you've given away 2/3 of your profit, right? The difference between $70 cost and $100 price is $30. If you discount $100, $20, 20%, now it's $80. And so you're only making $10 on each one.
Yeah.
And how much, and now you've got to have 3 times the volume to get the same profit.
Yeah.
Flip that around the other way. Raise your price 10%. Now you've effectively increased your profit by 30% because you've gone from $30, 33%, right? You've gone from $30 profit to $40 profit, right?
Yeah.
If you just go up 10%. So now you have to lose 1/3 of your clients to that 10% price increase, and you still make the same amount of money.
That's awesome.
Right. So that's one of the things that the small business owners just don't get. Right. So you have pricing flexibility. I mean, I'm not sure that in today's environment with the pandemic, that this is exactly the right time to raise your prices, but it certainly isn't the time to make drastic changes in slashing your prices.
Well, can I add something?
Unless there are specific business reasons for doing it. You got way too much inventory or something like that. That's a very, very complicated piece of it. Yeah. But that's one of those things that the real question is, what's the value?
Yeah. Well, it's true. What are you really giving of value? And you touched on something very important that it brought to mind what happened to me a couple of years ago. A friend of mine referred someone to me saying she's amazing. You should do some advertising for your business. And she was an older lady who started business late. And she said she was struggling in her business. And I felt sorry for her. And I said, well, you're a friend of my friend. So I offered her a really deep discount. And I said, I could do this for you. And I'll even do installments and the whole shebang. And actually, it ended up not going through. But she actually came back a month later and said she spoke to, oh, God, who did she speak to? Her publisher. And her publisher said, oh, no one should be paying for advertising. She's a crooked person. How dare her even try to take any money from you? So she wrote this really nasty letter. But what I thought was interesting about it is that here I was thinking I was helping her. And by doing the deep discount, what I ended up doing is actually not being able to serve her at all because it offered a distaste where someone came up with whatever. But on the same token, why I'm mentioning this is that not too long afterward, I started working in partnership with an advertising company that would go bring me leads and I give them a commission. And then I brought up my pricing 4 times the amount, also to offset some of the cost of them going out to get some good quality leads. But we started getting like orders like this from really profitable, awesome companies. So I think it's interesting. What is it really worth? How can it help people? And you kind of devalue yourself when you give such a deep discount sometimes.
That is absolutely true. And people, you give away too much for free, and people will think that you have no value.
Exactly.
So it's a complicated thing, but I think the other thing that we talk about with our clients is the possibility of bundling. Can you take a couple of your things and put them together so that your prospects, your clients, aren't able to do an apples to apples comparison with your service and somebody else's because they're not exactly the same. People don't want to actually buy based on price. They want to buy based on value. Right? And if you can provide them with a larger value, they're more likely to go with you, even if the price is a little bit higher. So either bundling some of your services or partnering with someone who offers a complementary service and bundling together.
Great idea.
So there are a variety of things like that we talk about as strategies to shore up your pricing, even in this kind of environment.
Yeah, and it's possible. There are people like yourself doing fabulously well, even in this economy. And anyway, I find even in the Depression, I was surprised to hear during the Great Depression, one of the companies that did the best was Revlon. And I was like, what? Makeup? People want food. They don't need makeup. But you want a little lipstick. It might be a little pricey, but it makes you feel good. It makes you, and things are really depressing right now. So you have a lipstick to. Who would have thought? I wouldn't have thought, but so it depends on what people are needing and value right now. And necessarily the things you think people might need or want aren't what they need and want. So, it is possible in any market to do well. Now, I'm just curious, share with me, Profit Mind, where did that name come from? Why did you choose that?
Well, that it's interesting. One of my partners in this business, he has had several sort of businesses that he started. He had it for a while. He had a venture capital firm that was Intelligent Minds. He really liked the idea of, the intelligent piece of it, the minds piece of it. And so we started throwing words together with minds the fact that we're helping people grow their profit. It's, think smarter. Yeah. Right. So, that was the impetus of that.
And also it seems like you're changing your mindset about a lot of things to kind of grow your mindset to become profitable.
Absolutely. I mean, that's all part of it, right? It's a matter of really giving people a different way of thinking about what they need to do to grow.
Awesome. Yeah. How did they get started? If someone's listening in today and said, I think what you're doing could totally launch me in the direction I need to go to, especially now, a lot of people out of work might have had a job, but don't have a job. Maybe this is an opportunity that they could grow into a business. How would they get started with you?
So the best way to get in touch with me, honestly, is through LinkedIn. Just go make a connection with me on LinkedIn. If you want to go to the website to check out profitminds.net, there you can download our free book. You can ask a question. You can book a call.
Well, I have to thank you again for coming to share your great wisdom, Stephen. It's been great to have you here back, sharing your brilliance and your wisdom with our savvy audience. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Christina, it was a pleasure. Thank you again.
Like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.